Have you ever felt it? That strange sensation, as if something or someone were quietly watching you, not from the outside, but from the depths within. A whisper that never reaches your lips, a breath that doesn't belong to air, but to the soul itself. You can't name it. You can't point to where it lives. But it knows you, perhaps better than you know yourself. It knows your fears, your impulses, your secret thoughts you would never dare to confess. Carl Jung called it the shadow, the unseen side of our psyche, the part we refuse to acknowledge, the darkness we hide behind our achievements, politeness, and smiles. The shadow doesn't vanish when we ignore it. It grows, quietly, patiently, feeding on our denial, thriving in the sterile light of false perfection. Most people run from it. They run from discomfort, from imperfection, from anything that threatens the fragile idea of who they think they are. But not you. The fact that you're here, listening to these words, means you might belong to that rare few who dare to look deeper, to face what others repress, to hear what others silence. What you're about to experience is not just a psychological test. It's a ritual of confrontation, a meeting with the truth that hides beneath your polished exterior. In a moment, you will face 5 images. Each one is a key, a mirror, a reflection of the hidden forces that move within you. Don't overthink them. Don't analyze or rationalize. Let your intuition, that quiet pulse of truth inside you, choose for you. Whichever image calls you, touches something inexplicable within, that is where your shadow waits to be seen. Because healing never begins in the light. It begins where we dare to look into the dark and whisper, "I'm not afraid of what I am." You stand before the image, a porcelain doll, flawless, motionless, sitting in a silent room with no doors, no windows. The air feels cold, suspended, almost unreal. At first glance, it seems innocent, harmless, maybe even beautiful. But the longer you look, the more unsettling it becomes. That perfect face, so polished, so calm, it's not alive. Behind that smile, there's no breath, no warmth, only the echo of someone who forgot how to feel. This doll isn't just an object. It's you, or rather, the part of you that learned to survive by being perfect, polite, and pleasing. The part that wears a mask every morning to meet the expectations of the world. You were taught, maybe long ago, that showing pain is weakness, that emotions make you fragile, that tears should be hidden, that silence is safer than truth. And so, piece by piece, you locked your tenderness away, until only the porcelain remained, shiny, unbreakable, but terribly cold. Look around this room. Empty. No laughter, no chaos, no warmth. That's the world of your suppressed feelings. A world that once held joy and spontaneity, now replaced by control, calmness, and restraint. Here lives your shadow, the silenced part of you, still waiting for permission to cry, to rage, to be. Jung once wrote, "Where light shines only from one direction, the shadow grows in silence." And this is exactly what happened. You became so good at being what others needed that you forgot what you needed. The porcelain mask is not falsehood, it's protection. It's how you survived. But now, your soul is whispering, "No more pretending, no more perfection. I want to be real." Ask yourself, when was the last time you felt an emotion that wasn't filtered by your role? When was the last time you said no, not because it was logical, but because your heart begged for rest? When did you stop being yourself just to stay acceptable? Inside this doll, there's not just pain, there's power. Because every part of you that you once rejected is still waiting, patiently, to be seen, loved, and welcomed home. Maybe it's time to sit beside that doll in the silence, look into her empty glass eyes and whisper, "You don't have to pretend anymore. You can cry, you can breathe, you can feel." And with that whisper, a small crack appears in the porcelain, not a flaw, but the beginning of freedom. Because real healing doesn't come from staying perfect, it comes from daring to break beautifully. You look again, and this time, the image changes. Endless spiral stairs turning into infinity. A staircase with no top, no bottom, just motion without arrival. And beyond it, a desert, silent, vast, sun-bleached. No signs of life, no direction, just the echo of your own thoughts returning to you again and again. This is the landscape of the mind when it cannot stop thinking. When the search for meaning becomes a prison of its own. Every step feels logical. Every thought seems necessary. But the more you climb, the more lost you feel. You analyze, interpret, explain. But the questions multiply like shadows at dusk. The more you try to understand life, the less you feel it. Carl Jung once said, "Thoughts are the nets we cast over reality to feel safe, but sometimes those nets become our cages." The desert around the stairs is not just emptiness. It's the exhaustion of a heart that's been silenced by logic too long. Here, every emotion is dissected, categorized, judged. Every impulse must be justified, every tear explained, until nothing spontaneous remains, only analysis. You may have learned that safety comes from understanding, that control is the cure for fear, that reason protects you from chaos. But reason, when worshipped, can dry the soul. The stairs keep spinning, and no matter how high you climb, you never reach the ground of peace. The message of this image is not about answers. It's an invitation to stop climbing, to step off the spiral and sit in the sand, to feel, not think, to listen, not interpret. Because transformation doesn't happen when you figure everything out. It happens when you surrender, when you allow yourself to not know, to be lost, to be silent, to let life breathe through you again. Maybe your soul is tired, not of living, but of trying to understand every corner of existence. Maybe it's time to trust the unknown again, to walk barefoot through that desert, and let the wind erase the old questions from your skin. This is not a puzzle to be solved. It's a return to simplicity, to that wordless peace that was always there beneath the noise. So stop climbing, stop searching, sit in the desert, and listen. Because the silence that you fear is not emptiness, it's the beginning of truth. You stand before a mirror, but something is wrong. There's no reflection, no face, no outline, no confirmation that you even exist. Just emptiness, endless, white, and silent. Most people would turn away. You, however, stay. Because deep down, you know this isn't a mirror made of glass. It's a portal, a thin line between who you think you are and who you truly are. Beneath all the stories. That nothingness staring back at you is not the absence of self. It's the space where all false identities dissolve. It's the silence after a lifetime of noise. The moment when the roles, names, and masks fall away, and all that remains is presence. Carl Jung wrote, "Man does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." This mirror is that darkness, not a punishment, but a cleansing. Not emptiness, but the quiet soil where a new truth can grow. Maybe for years you've been living on autopilot, doing what's expected, saying what's appropriate, smiling when your soul was silent. You became a character in your own story, perfectly written, but emotionally absent. And now, as you look into that blank mirror, you realize the most frightening truth of all. You've been gone for a long time. This is the essence of the shadow. Not evil, not darkness, but everything you once abandoned to fit in. Your real feelings, your intuition, your dreams, the parts of you that never stopped waiting for your return. So stand before that mirror. Don't fill it with explanations. Don't rush to fix what's missing. Just breathe. Because the mirror without reflection isn't asking you to see yourself. It's asking you to be yourself, to exist without needing validation, without needing form, to feel your own heartbeat as proof enough that you are here. It's painful. Yes. To face the silence of who you truly are without the armor of identity. To feel the rawness of being naked, uncertain, and real. But this pain is sacred. It's the pain of birth. The moment your false self dies so that your true self can begin to breathe. Look deeper. That blank space isn't mocking you. It's welcoming you home. To a place beyond names, beyond mirrors, beyond definitions, where being is enough. Because the moment you stop searching for your reflection, you finally become what you were meant to see. Before you now lies a final vision, a book engulfed in blue fire, surrounded by endless snow. It burns, yet does not vanish. It screams without sound. This is the book of your soul. Every page carries a fragment of your life, your memories, your mistakes, your tenderness, your shame. And that flame, it's not destruction. It's purification. It's the ancient fire Jung spoke of, the inner alchemy that burns away illusion so truth can stand unclothed. For years, you've kept parts of yourself frozen under snow, your intuition, your emotions, your desire to live fully. The snow was protection, a shield from pain. It numbed you, silenced the cries of the heart. But now the fire rises. It asks one question only. What are you willing to let die so something real can be born? Maybe it's a belief that you must always be strong. Maybe it's the habit of hiding your sadness behind intellect. Maybe it's the identity that once saved you, but now keeps you trapped. Let it burn. Let it all burn. Because the fire is not your enemy. It's your awakening. And when the last page turns to ash, you see another image, a mask seated on a throne, majestic, impeccable, hollow. This too is you, the ego, the perfect monarch of your constructed kingdom, the ruler who built walls of certainty, towers of logic, and moats of self-control. You wore that mask for so long you forgot there was a human being underneath. Carl Jung warned that the mask, the persona, is necessary to function in the world, but lethal when mistaken for the self. And you, brave as you are, have finally reached the moment when the crown grows heavy. You see it now. Power without connection is loneliness. Success without authenticity is dust. Control without love is a cage made of gold. So, you take off the mask. It trembles. It resists. But you remove it anyway, and with it goes the illusion that you must be perfect to be loved. You step down from the throne, barefoot on the cold ground, and whisper the words the soul has waited a lifetime to hear. I don't need to be admired. I just need to be real. And in that surrender, something extraordinary happens. The fire softens, the snow melts, the ashes rise into light. You are not destroyed. You are reborn, Because the purpose of the shadow was never to haunt you. It was to guide you back to the parts of yourself you left behind in the dark. You've passed through every image, faced every reflection, burned every mask. And now, at last, there's no test left, only truth. You, whole, flawed, radiant, alive. Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." Tonight, that privilege is yours. So when you close your eyes, don't look for light. Look for presence. Because the darkness is no longer your enemy, it's your witness. It has been waiting all along for you to finally say, "I see you. You are part of me. And together, we are whole."